The views and opinions expressed by the host do not necessarily reflect those of the company and its management. Furthermore, the views and opinions expressed by the guests do not reflect those of the hosts, the show, the management, or the network.
This podcast episode is brought to you by Montesa Medical Group Aesthetic Center, Advanced Dermatology, Age Management, and Plastic Surgery. Timeless beauty, safe, and worry-free. Hey, what's up? Welcome to Bloomer Babe Podcast. This is your host, Katie. Welcome to the podcast about my life, current news, lifestyle, millennial struggles, and anything under the sun. So if that sounds like your jam, please stick around. How are you guys? Are you finally feeling the summer heat sa Pilipinas? My God. One more month. But I hope everyone is listening to this episode at the comforts of their home, hopefully in an air-conditioned room. How are your plans for this summer? Nakapag out of town na ba kayo? How was your Holy Week? I hope you had a very restful week last week. Okay, let's dive into it. So, for today's episode, this would be a very personal one and juicy. I'll be talking all by myself because I don't have a co-host with me today. I'll be sharing how I get things done without burning myself out. And no, I don't have it all figured out, but I swear I cracked some kind of a lazy girl system na pwede nyo ring i-adapt. Kung ikaw yung type na tamad, pero may pangarap, tinatamad, pero may Google Calendar, this one's for you. Why suffer when you can have your tasks systemized or automated, right? And also, let me be real with you. I don't consider myself as a hardworking person. Hindi ako yung tipong gigising ng 5 a.m. to go to the gym, cold plunge, hustle, and repeat. Yeah, I try my best. I try my best to be personality type A, but most of the time, I am not. What I have is a brain that naturally looks for the fastest, easiest, most efficient way to do things. I love solving problems. Kung may 5-step process, most of the time I'll go around it and find other ways to make the steps, shorter. Gagawin ko siyang 3 steps if possible. But of course, I still need to, motivate myself, or better yet, turn certain things into a routine para tuloy-tuloy ako kahit wala akong, fire ng inspiration. So today, I'll be sharing my hacks kung paano ko natutong maging disciplined kahit tamad ako minsan. So, okay, let's unpack this first. So, discipline for me used to sound so boring and intense. Parang ang bigat pakinggan. I used to think being disciplined meant dapat lagi kang busy, no breaks, no scrolling, no fun. But that's not discipline. That's the burned out disguised as productivity. For us modern girls, lalo na mga multitaskers na may work, side hustle, podcast, social life, skincare, Pilates, and probably a dog named Gideon. Hi, baby. We need to work smarter. Discipline for me is setting things up so that I don't have to rely on motivation or energy all the time. It's not about being on beast mode 24/7. It's about making the right things easy and automatic. And that's why I have a list here with me of all the hacks I can share with you that actually works. So, hack number 1 is strategic scheduling. Instead of recording my podcasts every week and stressing over last-minute prep, what I do is I time block. So, I look at my schedule and then I set aside specific time slots for deep work, whether that's recording, writing, or even just brainstorming. Kasi I realize kung maghahanap ako ng perfect mood every week, madidelay na naman ako. Mas okay na may set schedule Kasi even when I'm not feeling creative, I know that time is reserved for productivity. I also schedule what I call buffer zones. So, between tasks, para hindi ako ma-overwhelm. If one thing runs late, it's no biggie. It's all about giving yourself space to breathe, but still having that structure to get stuff done. This way, I am more in control of my time. I don't need to hustle nonstop. I just work smarter. I also came across, I think that's called Pomodoro, on where kung gusto mo mas focus, kung gusto mo you would be in a flow, lalo na sa mga taong may ADHD, what you can do is just set a timer for like focus work for like an hour, and then you would get 5 to 10 minute breaks, I think every hour or every 2 hours, it depends, so that may pahinga yung brain mo. Alam mo yun, when you take a break and then after you go back to your work, mas focused ka, and you feel refreshed every time. Another hack. Okay, hack number 2 is accountability with a twist. There was a time on where I hired an accountability partner. I know I have told you this on my previous podcasts, on where there is a penalty system. So I hired her to record or like monitor the tasks, my daily tasks or weekly tasks. And then if I wasn't able to do that, I would pay her a certain amount as a penalty. Pag di ko siya nagawa, I pay her a certain amount, let's say 500 pesos. Para alam yun, mararamdam mo ko'y sakit. So, there are other ways na pwede mo siyang gawin. For me kasi, my motivation is money. Literal na masakit sa bulsa, so kailangan kong magtino. And I call it the motivational tax. Sometimes money pain is the best discipline. I know we've talked about the power of accountability before, but for me, this is the ultimate motivator. And just to clarify, hindi ko na siya ginagamit every time, but just the thought of paying that fee gets me to do the task I'm procrastinating on. And I'm happy every time I was able to check off a task and know that I didn't have to pay that penalty. Even sometimes I even like treat myself for something like a food or like a shopping spree if I was able to have a full week na wala akong na-miss na task.
Here at Montesa Medical Group, we've got innovative approaches for your physical look. Montesa Medical Group, results are mental, safe, effective, and worry-free. Enjoy a quiet luxury, a timeless beauty. Here at Montesa.
Okay, hack number 3 is brain dump is self-care. Okay, so what I do is that anytime I get an idea, kahit gaano ka-random, I write it down. Notes app, Notion, voice memo, Google Doc, kahit minsan sa tissue na lang. Kasi if I don't do it or if I don't write things down, there's a big chance that I'll forget about it and it will live rent-free in my head. So, writing things down clears my mental space. Alam mo yun, parang emotional unload pero for your to-do lists. And trust me, this makes you less overwhelmed kahit madaming iniisip. I think I've mentioned this before, how my brain is like a cluttered room, right? Kasi pagka ideas overload, I tend to spiral. Once it's out of my head, I can focus on what really needs attention at the present moment. Hack number 4. I'm a calendar girly now. If it's not in my calendar, it doesn't exist. From deadlines to social plans, even self-care time. Why? Kasi it helps me see where my energy is going. Kapag sobrang puno na yung week ko, I block out time for nothing. Literal na, do not disturb time. You need to visual structure, especially if kalat ka mag-isip, like me. Scheduling isn't just about managing time, it's about respecting it. When I'm swamped with my task, seeing everything in one place gives me a sense of control. It's like creating a space treaty with your day. A balance between hustle and chill. And girl, I also use color coded calendars for extra motivation. Pink for fun stuff, green for work, blue for errands, what else? Orange for social time. And I don't care if it sounds extra, but for me, it works. Hack number 5, systems saves you. So templates, automations, Google Sheets, Notion boards, I love them all. If you set things up for once, you save time forever. So example, podcast description templates, IG caption banks, recurring to-do list, all prepped and waiting. Hindi mo kailangan maging masipag kung meron ka ng smart system na gumagawa for you. This also applies to emails, workflows, even meal preps. I love using systems for everything. And guess what? Systems don't have to be complicated, like simple spreadsheets or task lists with check boxes works wonders for me. It's about making time predictable so you're not constantly starting from scratch. One hack I could also share with you is when you see my board sa bahay, I have a wall on where I put all of my things to do. I write it down on a post-it note and then I stick it to the board, and then once I'm done, it feels good when I was able to take off something from my list, and then throw it in the bin. Parang, yes, I feel accomplished that I was able to do something, Okay, hack number 6 is temptation bundling, or aka bribing myself. So I pair boring tasks with fun things, like maglo-laundry ako while listening to a very juicy podcast, or finish a task to get an iced latte reward. Sometimes I even tell myself, girl, finish this and you can scroll to TikTok guilt-free after. So self-discipline with self-love is a game changer. This isn't about giving yourself excuses. It's about finding the right balance. You get to do the things you need to do and still have fun. Okay, so I shared with you a total of 6 hacks. And I don't call myself hardworking person. It doesn't feel accurate, but I do take pride in being strategic, efficient, and clever. Kung may long way at shortcut, I will for sure test the shortcut first. And if it works, girl, it's going into the system. We're in an era where you don't have to overwork to win. You just need to be intentional, organized, and honest with yourself. Sometimes the lazy girl is just a smart girl in disguise. And this is something I try to remember every day. You don't have to be tired to be successful. You don't have to grind 24/7. You just have to work smarter, not harder. I hope we can normalize things that you can love. Slow mornings and still be productive. You can have a skincare routine and still have a to-do list. You can nap midday and still meet your goals. Discipline doesn't have to look masculine, harsh, or rigid. It can look soft, gentle, aesthetic, princess, even pink. You don't have to suffer to be successful. You just need a system that supports you. Final notes from a lazy girl who gets it done. If you made it this far, thank you for being here, babe. Let this be a reminder that discipline isn't about working more. It's about making life easier for your future self. And lazy girls like us, we just need to be clever with our energy and generous with our dreams. You set up systems, automate things, get accountability, delegate tasks if you can. Romanticize your to-do list, reward yourself better. If you enjoy this episode, please share it with your fellow lazy but ambitious babe and tag me when you're setting up your own routines. I'd love to see your soft girly systems. And don't forget, you can rest and rise, you can have princess tendencies and still be powerful. You can be the Lulu and disciplined. you're allowed to be both. Till next time, stay glowing, stay blooming, and always bet on yourself. If you have questions or suggestions, just send in an email to bloomerbabepodcast@gmail.com. And also, please like my social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can stream this podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. So, see you on my next episode, and that's it. I'll see you on my next one. Buyers! Special thanks to Montesa Medical Group, Aesthetic Center, Advanced Dermatology, Age Management, and Plastic Surgery. Timeless beauty, safe and worthy.